Our story is about a small valley town called Tire. It's the 28th of October. Tomorrow, National Day will be celebrated throughout Turkey. So, let's go to Tire and watch rehearsals in a school playground. The boys in their celebration uniforms are 10 and 11 years old. Their sergeant is 11. It's dinner time, but everyone stays to watch. All Turkish children wear these black school uniforms. That bronze head is of Kemal Atatürk, the founder of modern Turkey. You'll find one in every school playground. Tomorrow, these boys will march through Tire, but the big procession will be in Izmir, so let's go there. The Turkish Star and Crescent. The bright red flags are the first things you notice. It's a public holiday, and everybody's here. These are college students, and behind them will come the high school girls with drums. Let's watch out for the cymbals. They're made in Turkey. Bands throughout the world use Turkish cymbals. There's one now. Next, the nurses in their blue and white uniforms. Next, the cubs and brownies. The smallest ones in the long procession play their mandolins, but the music is drowned by the brass bands. The holiday is over all too soon, and it's back to school as usual. Most children in Tire live in the town, but some, like these, and some teachers, come from the nearby villages. They pass a flock of sheep drinking at a well, but you could find them if you looked down by the river not too far away. Not far away either are the sesame fields. Do you remember the story of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves? Open barley, open wheat, they said. But the magic password was open sesame. Did you ever wonder what sesame was? Well, this is sesame. It's a cereal something like wheat. It's harvest time, and the grain must first be threshed, then sieved, and now it's ready to be ground into flour. It's put into sacks, and taken away by tractor. Along the road from Tire to Ephesus, the cotton fields are filled with pickers. The cotton harvest is in full swing. The whole family picks. This fair-haired girl is only 4. Turkish countrywomen still wear traditional trousers. They're a good protection from the spiky cotton plants. The cotton baskets are emptied into big sacks. When the sacks are full, the cotton balls are pressed down like this. It's a good, fast way of working. Camels are used to carry the sacks. Unlike tractors, they can move in the fields without crushing the unpicked cotton plants. The camels wait, grunting patiently while the sacks are loaded. And, at the word of command, get up. Then our small camel train, led by a donkey, moves off. Most of this cotton goes to the ginning factory on the outskirts of Tire. On arrival, it must first be inspected for quality. 2 big handfuls from different parts of the sack. And the inspector is satisfied. The sacks are sewn up, ready to be weighed. The sacks are weighed on a balance scale carried on 2 men's shoulders. The correct weight is chalked on each sack because the farmer is paid by weight. In the factory, the cotton is first rid of its seeds, then sucked through this vacuum pipe to the floor above, where it's blown out, ready to be fed to the carding machines which comb the cotton to soft strands. These are Turkish machines made in Izmir. When enough cotton has come through, it's gathered up, ready to be baled and sent abroad. At Tire railway station, bundles of rushes are being unloaded and reloaded onto camels. These have come all the way from the swamps of central Turkey. The baby camels stay close to their working mothers. Some of the rushes will be used for saddle making, but most will be used for making rush mats. These mats are made in a village just outside Tire. It's a family business. This girl is twisting the rushes to make the weft, or base of the mat. Her cousin is splitting the rushes to make the warp, or cross weave. Her mother is pounding the rushes to make them soft. And her sister is weaving the actual mat on a very simple loom frame. Rush mats are used everywhere in Turkey, on the floor, under carpets, on the walls and roofs as protection from the sun. These will be sold in Tire. And this is Tire, with its blue and white minarets gleaming high above the town in the morning sun. Tire has modern streets and blocks of flats. There are shady squares where people sit. This is a journalist checking his newspaper story while he smokes a hookah. It's a water pipe. The smoke, when drawn through the water, is filtered. Tire has old and new side by side, modern storehouses and horse-drawn carts. Tractors and buses bump over the cobbled roads. A stone's throw away, you can walk through narrow streets unchanged since the Apostle Paul journeyed to these parts and saw on his travels felt rugs much like these. Rug making is an ancient craft. The colored felt strips to make the traditional geometrical patterns are placed on a rush mat. Squares and rectangles and circles. These are the patterns used in Islam. But the colored felt is only part of the rug. The remainder of the rug will be made of fluffed up wool. Across the street, sacks of shorn wool are being prepared for rug making. These boy apprentices are clipping out the burrs and hard knots of wool ready to be teaseled out by machines in the tiny workroom behind them. Then the fluffy wool is taken across to the patterned base of the rug, where it's evenly placed on top of the felt. When he's completely covered it, he'll dampen the wool with water. Now the boy apprentices must roll up the rug, ready to stamp it. The noise wakes up the dog. The boys will work in turns for up to 5 hours, when the rug inside will be pressed and flattened into its final shape, like this one. This is the street of the saddle makers. Different shapes of saddles are made for camels and oxen and donkeys. This one's for a donkey. Saddles are made of wood and canvas and rushes, those same useful rushes that have come from hundreds of miles away in inland Turkey. At noon, the rug makers, the harness makers, and the saddle makers leave their work as the call to prayer is sounded from the minaret high above Tire's biggest mosque. Watermelon seller to his pile of melons, and the shopkeepers to their goods. This is a shop full of the utensils Turkish families use in their homes. Cups and kettles, beautiful copper pots of all kinds, and copper pans for cooking. Next door, a tinsmith is finishing off a big pan, for cooking pans must be lined with tin. His boy apprentice works the bellows. Turkey is famous for its figs, but the fig harvest is over. These women are grading the last of the figs. These will go by train from Tire to inland Turkey, where, in the high, cold mountains, figs don't grow. Turkish delight, but strangely it was quite hard to find in Tire. Helva was a much more popular sweet. This is a helva maker's shop. Inside, the helva is being cut up. It's made from sugar and the flour from the sesame grain. It'll be distributed free to poor families on the next religious feast day. This is the helva that school children buy. It may have nuts and tastes rather like nougat. We can't leave Tire without looking at one more craft for which Tire is famous. This man with the donkey is selling the stringy fibers of a reed. And in the market, we can find out what's made from it. It's rope. For centuries, sailors from the coast and farmers for miles around have bought this rope. And any day you can find the rope makers at work. As the wheel spins round, twisting the rope maker feeds in the pieces of fiber. This strand of rope may later form part of a thicker rope. Let's end where we began, in the primary school in Tire. These girls, too, are making rope. The girls in front are beating the fiber from the stem and the leaves of the reed so that it's soft and workable. Then a piece of fiber is attached to the wheel. And the girl moves back, letting out more fibers as she goes. This is part of the craft period, and she's teaching the two younger girls. In the craft room, children are polishing the mosaic tiles they've made, using bits of ancient pottery, Seljuk, Roman, sometimes Greek, picked up in the fields around Tire. These tiles are a record of their country's history. Just as the patterns they draw and paint in this modern school, these geometric curves and shapes are a part of traditional Turkey.